In the Wise Swans story, once upon a time, there was a king who had 11 sons and a daughter. Her name Eliza. They were living happily in their castle until the day when the king decided to get married again. The children were waiting for their new mother. The new queen was quick, rich, and didn't treat the children well. All of them were unhappy to meet her. To achieve her goal, she sent Eliza to a remote place with a peasant and his wife. The princes were too good-hearted for the queen's spell worked completely instead of ugly birds. They turned into beautiful swans and flew away from the castle. When she turned 15, she was allowed to return to the castle and meet the king. The queen didn't want the king and the princess to meet. The queen tried to make Eliza turn ugly. When the king saw Eliza, he was furious. Eliza started her journey in search of her brothers. The sun was about to set, and she saw 11 beautiful swans flying in the sky. As the sun was setting, they turned into 11 princes. All of them were happy to see Eliza. The next morning, the princess turned into swans again. They asked Eliza to sit on a net, and lifted the net in their beaks, and flew away. By the end of the day, they landed near some caves. At night, when Eliza was sleeping, she dreamed that a fairy came to meet her and showed her how to get her brothers back to normal with a condition. You should not speak a single word from the day you start this task until the end. If you speak, your brothers will die. When she woke up, her brothers had gone. She went out and started picking the nettles. It was stinging and paining, but Eliza continued with that she had started. She picked a few nettles, brought them to the cave, and crushed them into walks. A mouse was watching what Eliza was doing. He found interesting and started helping her. At night, when her brothers returned to the cave, they found Eliza doing something mysterious. The youngest brother went to Eliza and lifted her hands. He saw the stings and burnt hands. He had tears in his eyes. A couple of his tears fell on Eliza's hands. It soothed her pain, and she fell asleep. One day, when was picking the nettles, she heard some loud sound nearby. Eliza had no word there than waving calls from the walks. She wove 10 calls, as she was about to wave the last one, so she went out the castle that night and searched for the graveyard. She was misunderstood as a witch. She was kept in very cell. She was supposed to spend her last night on her couch, and the watch was thrown inside her cell. She started working rapidly. The mouse kept running between the cell and graveyard. She was waving the last call till they took her out in the morning. She was sitting in a cart and waving the cart without being disturbed. Eliza looked up to see 11 swans flying over her head. Eliza had her last cut completed. She threw on the cuts on the swans one by one, and the swan turned into 11 handsome princes. The princess told the whole story to the king. The king felt ashamed for the way he treated Eliza. Everybody in the castle was happy to know the news about King's marriage. The 11 princes attended the royal marriage. Later, the king, along with Queen Eliza and the 11 princes, captured the evil queen's kingdom and imprisoned her for a lifetime. The king was thus freed from the witch spell. They lived happily ever after.